The laws of nature are written by the hand of God in the language of mathematics. You can't teach anybody anything, only make them realize the answers are already inside them. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered, the point is to discover them. Nothing can be taught to a man, only it's possible to help him to discover it inside. I have never met a man so ignorant that I couldn't learn something from him. In the sciences, the authority of thousands of opinions is not worth as much as one tiny spark of reason in an individual. Knowing thyself is the greatest wisdom. I do not feel compelled to believe that the same God who has endowed us with senses, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use. To understand the universe, you must understand the language in which it's written, the language of mathematics. To be humane, we must always be ready to pronounce that wise, ingenious, and modest statement, "I do not know." Two truths cannot contradict one another. Some, merely to contradict what I had said, did not scruple to cast doubt upon things they had seen with their own eyes again and again. The sun, with all those planets revolving around it and dependent on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing else in the universe to do. I would beg the wise and learned fathers of the Church to consider with all diligence the difference which exists between matters of mere opinion and matters of demonstration. It vexes me when they would constrain science by the authority of the Scriptures, and yet do not consider themselves bound to answer reason and experiment. I think that in the discussion of natural problems we ought to begin not with the Scriptures, but with experiments and demonstrations. Measure what can be measured, and make measurable what cannot be measured. There are those who reason well, but they are greatly outnumbered by those who reason badly. Nonetheless, it moves. You cannot teach a person something he does not already know, you can only bring what he does know to his awareness. The greatest wisdom is to get to know oneself. The Bible shows the way to go to heaven, not the way the heavens go. If you could see the earth illuminated when you were in a place as dark as night, it would look to you more splendid than the moon. Showing a greater fondness for their own opinions than for truth, they sought to deny and disprove the new things which, if they had cared to look for themselves, their own senses would have demonstrated to them. With regard to matters requiring thought, the less people know and understand about them, the more positively they attempt to argue concerning them. But let us remember that we are dealing with infinities and indivisibles, both of which transcend our finite understanding, the former on account of their magnitude, the latter because of their smallness. The prohibition of science would be contrary to the Bible, which in hundreds of places teaches us how the greatness and glory of God shine forth marvelously in all His works, and is to be read above all in the open book of the heavens. I believe that the intention of Holy Writ was to persuade men of the truths necessary to salvation, such as neither science nor other means could render credible, but only the voice of the Holy Spirit. In my studies of astronomy and philosophy, I hold this opinion about the universe, that the sun remains fixed in the center of the circle of heavenly bodies, without changing its place, and the earth, turning upon itself, moves round the sun.